And good morning and welcome to another edition of Telling It Like It Is. My name's Ralph Williams, along with my co-host, who I'm bringing up right now, Leo Haggerty from Amped Up Sports. Leo, welcome to the program as always. It's a great Saturday morning. I don't know what the temps are down there in Florida, but up here we're in the 50s.
We're in the 70s, Ralph. I'm it's going to get up in the low 80s, but tomorrow it's going to get down in the 60s and high in the 70s. So we're starting to see fall a little bit, but in Florida it ain't going to happen until November, December, where you start to get cool.
Oh, I know. Leo, today we have a lot to talk about, as we always do. The big news of this week was McCarthy getting ousted as the Speaker of the House. This is a dangerous move. I think these Republicans are so greedy, Leo. What is going on here with these Republicans?
Well, Ralph, I'm trying to get a handle on it, and there's like 8 or 10 Republicans who want, from what I understand, they want to cut spending. They want to get back to close to a balanced budget. And right now, that's not what's coming out of the House of Representatives. And McCarthy basically, put the nails in his own coffin when he decided the only way I could get Speaker is to give these guys this, 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 and this. And, they were just waiting for the opportunity. Now, somebody asked me the other day, do you go to the movies anymore? I said, no, I just turn on the TV and watch the House of Representatives. That's enough comic relief for a week. But
Oh yeah.
let's see what happens Monday when they come up with a. And you know what, Ralph? This is crazy. But if President Biden and Vice President Harris couldn't perform their duties today, we had to go down the line. Guess who becomes president?
The Speaker of the House.
Patty Murray. Because there's no
Wow.
Speaker of the House, it goes to the President pro tem of the Senate. Name me anybody who knows Patty Murray's from Washington. So yeah,
I don't know Patty Murray.
exactly. I didn't either. So again, I just looked it up. But you have no Speaker of the House. That's important. That gets done. But the biggest problem, Ralph, is my God, those 535 people up there, they can't govern. I almost to say, let's throw them all out. Let's
Yeah,
start
get them
anew.
out of here. Gone. I want
And,
them
and
out. I mean,
I don't
you
care who
know,
it is, because your job up there is to govern, and you're not fulfilling your obligation.
absolutely. It's not happening at all. I agree with you 100%. We're in the First Line Consulting Services studios here for Telling It Like It Is. We're here every Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. with myself, Leo Haggerty. It's great to have Leo here on board. 1-877-926-6982 is the number to call for First Line Consulting Services here. They are the studio sponsor for Telling It Like It Is and all RW Media shows. Don't forget, coming up on Monday, 7 p.m., right here on YouTube, Twitter, X, Twitch, and Facebook is the way we see it with myself and Bill Canada every single Monday night. Don't forget to tune in today. You can watch the archive version on YouTube. And also, I posted on my Facebook page. So, Bon Journey will be performing today. If you're down there, those of you who are watching and listening from down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, they will be performing at the Dead Dog Saloon. 6 p.m. start time. Opening band is DJ uh, Glory Truth, and at 8 p.m. start for Bon Journey. DJ Glory Truth opens up for them. They are a great cover band. They play good Bon Jovi and Journey tunes. They're from Western Pennsylvania. Every once in a while, they go on the road, and today they're in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So if you're down there in Myrtle Beach or close by, or my friends down in Raleigh, North Carolina, you might want to take a little trip up and see Bon Journey as well. All right, Leo, let's continue on here. We were talking about McCarthy and how in trouble our federal government is. Another extension for this budget. I know a lot of the Republicans, I agree with them that they don't want to give no more money to Ukraine. And now the president's tying it up, and so is some other Democrats who just came back from a tour of Ukraine, who think that we should continue to give them more money. What do you think about this with Ukraine?
You know what, Ralph? There's got to be a finite amount somewhere. You got to sit down with Zelensky and say, okay, guys, we're not an unlimited source of money, and don't think we're going to send troops over there. The
Right.
closest we're going to get to a troop over there is an advisor to show them how these
Well,
weapons.
they have guys on the ground over there doing that now. Yeah.
Right. That's the closest we're going to get. We're not going to have combat troops over there.
No.
That wouldn't fly. And the biggest problem right now, Ralph, over in the Ukraine is it almost looks like a stalemate. And if it's a stalemate, that's advantage Russia because they can outweight you because they're emptying their prisons and sending them over there and saying, "Go ahead, guys, have at it." So it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy what Putin's doing over there in terms of what he's trying to do to take over the Ukraine.
Oh, he wants it so bad. He's another greedy pig. I mean, he can't have what he has. He has to have more. Can't have a little, have to have it all. And that's exactly where we are in our federal government as well. And I think this is all sad. And the sad part about this is our country's suffering right now with we got supply chain issues still going on. You see it, you see the ad for Biden running for president, and it says, "Oh, well, he fixed the supply chain." No, he didn't. We still have a problem. We have a diner here in town. It's a well-known diner. If you ever watched any of the Pittsburgh movies, it's called Dawn's Diner. It was on the movie The Next 3 Days. It was in Warrior. It was also in Striking Distance and a few of the other movies that we filmed here in Pittsburgh. They're going out of business. $80, Leo, for a case of eggs. $80. I mean, this is just unacceptable. And, they can't keep raising prices. And it's crazy. It's ridiculous. They said if it wasn't for the movies and the series like The Mayor of Kingstown, they used that diner. When the Paramount show that I've watched, it's a great show. The Mayor of Kingstown, filmed here in Pittsburgh. And I mean, it's ridiculous. It's totally out of control. And I don't see our president doing anything about it because he's too busy worrying about Ukraine. And and then they keep saying that we're in inflation and we have this problem, we have that problem. We have jobs, Leo. Nobody wants to work. That's the biggest problem here. And now we still got the automotive strike going on. There's still some of the industry in Hollywood still on strike a little bit there. What are your thoughts on these strikes that are happening here?
And you know what, Ralph? We also have the medical workers out in
The medical
California.
workers, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
they're on strike. And Ralph, I don't know if you turned the TV on this morning, but Hamas attacked Israel this morning. They
Oh
went in.
wow.
Yeah. So now we got another issue over there. And I don't know. I don't know what Hamas is thinking. Okay. It was the biggest attack on Israel since the Yom Kippur War, way back in the 1990s. They came in on gliders, Ralph. They're saying, and they've taken prisoners. They've taken them
Oh
back.
gosh.
Yeah, and
I haven't heard about that. No, I didn't.
yeah,
I didn't check the news out this morning, but I will.
yeah. Well, I just happened to pick that up. But here's where Netanyahu has to be real careful on what he does. Yeah, he's going back. He's already declared war on Hamas, and he's sent in the Air Force, and they're probably bombing the Gaza
Well,
Strip back.
Israel. One thing I'll give about Israel, Leo, they don't play around. Israel's got some good
No, no,
weapons. They don't joke. They don't
yeah,
play
yeah,
around, and they're one of our biggest allies.
yeah.
So
And you know what? If Mossad's coming after you, you're in trouble because
yeah,
they're going to find you.
yeah,
And uh, here's why Netanyahu has to really play careful because the Arab countries around, if he goes in there and goes too far, then you got those Arab countries a little worried, like Iran, Iraq, Saudi
yeah.
Arabia. But you know what? You can't condone a sneak attack like that. So they're going to stay out of this as long as Netanyahu doesn't jump too far. Now they're going to expect, hey, he's going to retaliate. That's what the Israelis do. You come in, they're going to make sure you don't do it again. So yeah,
Right,
yeah, that's
right.
that's going to be interesting. So, Ralph, we got that. We got the border wall going up again.
Oh,
I
well,
mean,
I'm glad it's going up, and I'm finally glad that Biden finally came to his senses to do something about this. And I think another reason he's starting to do some things here is because Trump's been eating them alive at these rallies. If you've watched on YouTube some of his rallies, I've and some of his appearances he's made on TV, he's been eating up Joe Biden.
well, yeah. And the Texas governor, you know, whether you like him or not, sending these people to Chicago, sending these people to New
To
York,
New York,
which are havens of democratic leadership. All of a
right?
sudden, you know, I'm making my problem in Texas, your problem in Chicago, in Illinois, and in New York. And if you listen to the Illinois governor, he is all over Biden saying, hey, you're doing nothing here, and we're struggling. We're in
I
trouble.
heard I heard they took a really good hotel, Leo, up in New York, the Roosevelt or something, and turned it into the hotel for these people. It's ridiculous.
Well, this is why they got to shut the border down. And
Yeah,
again, name me any other country in the world that allows you to just walk in. And that's what's happening right now. They're just walking in. You got to be documented. And now we're starting to see the Biden administration at least get a little tough. They're going to deport the Venezuelans back. But you know
yeah,
what? If you're here illegally, time to deport everybody back. Let's be real.
exactly. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next, Leo. We are so lazy in this country right now. These people are going to come in here, they're going to steal our jobs, and then everybody's going to start bitching because these people are working these jobs, but we don't work, and these jobs need to be filled. Okay. So this is what's going to happen. And now you're going to have big problems with this again. And now we're not going to have any jobs. When we have jobs now, nobody wants to step up and work.
You know what, Ralph? That's the biggest problem I'm seeing is that
Yes.
these people coming out of school, they want to work 10 minutes from their home. Guess what? That's not happening. I Everybody always said, well, why don't you get into education? There's no jobs. I said, there's jobs, just got to go find them. Well, guess what? I went to Wisconsin, grew up in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. I went to
Right.
Wisconsin, went to South Carolina, went
Okay.
down to Florida. I mean, you go where the job is. And people aren't willing to do that. They're not willing to cut the ties of that safety
Right.
net, still living with mom and dad.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I know some people in Florida. I know a guy who lives in Florida saying that he lives in St. Augustine. I guess it's pronounced St. Augustine or Augustine. How's
St.
it pronounced?
Augustine. St. Augustine.
Augustine. Okay. Well, St. Augustine, and he drives 2 hours each way to go to work. I know someone I spoke to when I was in Youngstown at the hospital where my nephew was at. Drives all the way from Pittsburgh or Cranberry Township up in Butler County, about an hour in a day to go to Youngstown to work at the hospital there. So I mean, there are people who will commute to go to work because they need the job and the job pays well. That's all well and good too, But I mean, it's horrible that we have this kind of a society these days where no one's willing to do what it takes. I had to do it. You had to do it. Why can't everyone else do it?
Well, and you know what? I sympathize with the strikers,
So
especially
do
the
I.
medical ones
Yeah.
out with, I think it's Kaiser Permanente or something like that, the hospital
Right.
system. They're striking for having more staff. They're saying, we just don't have enough people. I tell you
Yeah,
what,
we got that problem here.
yeah, if you are listening and you are a high school senior and you're thinking, what should I do? Go into the health profession.
Yeah, in the medical field. Yes.
They will
Yes.
they will take you quickly. You will have no trouble finding a job because right now that's the way to go. Nurses, medical techs, that's the way to go because there's jobs out there right and left.
Oh, there is. There's all kinds of jobs. You can even work at a McDonald's and make $15 an hour up here in some cases. In other states, it's even more money than that. But
You know what, Ralph?
again, you know,
Here's the biggest problem with this. They've got to change, and the government, and I've been preaching this for years, you've got to change welfare to workfare. You've got to make it an incentive to work because if I work a 40-hour week and all I bring
Hmm.
home is $200, but I can sit on my butt and collect welfare for 180, hey, that's an easy decision. We
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
tell people, okay, you're going to have to do something. Go work at a high school. Go work at a
Right.
nursery school. Go work at a hospital. You don't have to give me 40 hours. Give me 20 hours,
Well,
and we'll
that's what
take
they're
care of
doing now. Yeah. They just passed that federal law, started on Monday the 2nd, where you have to go out if you are capable of working, and welfare declares that you are capable of working, you will have to work 20 hours a week or 20 hours a month or something. If you don't, you lose your food stamps.
Well, Ralph, I don't have any problem with that because
I don't either.
if
I
you
don't
if you
either.
divide 20 by a 5-day work week, that's 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's not a
I'm
lot.
not sure if it's 20 hours a month, but I think it's 20 hours a week, maybe. I'm not sure. I have to look that law up, but I do know they're requiring you to work 20 hours at some kind
Some
of
way,
job.
shape, or form. And you know what?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't
But
either.
again,
I don't
I
either.
got in trouble with my teachers union because I was not for this total forgiveness plan of the college loans. I said, give me something. Give me
Right.
10 hours a month working in on weekends somewhere. Come out. There's no free lunch. Nobody put a gun to your head when you took these loans. That was your decision. Now, back it up. And again, I like the plan they have. Work so many years, and we'll start forgiving the back years. You work 10, then we'll start forgiving one. Work 11, we'll forgive the second one. That's fine
Right.
because you're giving them something in return. But just to say, okay, we're wiping $80,000 off the books. Well, you know what, Ralph? They didn't wipe mine off.
No, no, not at all. I have some too. They didn't do that either. All right. Well, I want to talk to you today about Sleep Pittsburgh. Sleep Pittsburgh is in the Homestead section of Pittsburgh. Head on out there at 8th Avenue, 412-462-7858. Give them a call today. They have no credit check financing, and they have day beds, they have lift chairs, they have futons, they have a big selection of stuff that involves sleep. Give them a call today. Check out their showroom. Also, go on sleeppittsburgh.com and order your whatever you want to order. Check out their selection. And like I said, they have no credit check financing. Sleep Pittsburgh for the best sleep tonight. All right, Leo, let's get into some sports talk here for a second here. It looks like Colorado kind of came back last week. They almost got blown out. What do you think about Prime now?
Well, yeah, Ralph. I wrote about this in the beginning of the year. Is he going to be 11-1? No. Is he going to be 1-11? No. He's going to be
No,
somewhere in the middle.
in between.
His goal has got to be let's make a bowl game. Let's get to a bowl
Yeah,
game.
like 6-5 or something. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
make a bowl game. Yeah,
Let's get to 6-6, 7-5,
yeah,
8-4 if we're lucky. He should win today. He's down at Arizona State. He should win
yeah.
today.
Arizona State's got a new coach. They're still rebuilding.
Yeah.
Herm Edwards isn't there anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And that's a winnable game. But Ralph, I'll tell you what. You look at the slate this week. There's 8 or 9 games that are must-see TV when it comes to NCAA football. Man, oh
Oh
man,
yeah.
yeah. And I'll tell you what. Let me get right into my Leo's losers real quick because yeah, right now it was 2-1 last week, right two. So that made me $490, and so I'm 14-4 on the first 5 weeks for the NCAA, and that would have made me 2179 with my short-term investment banker, which he would not have been happy. But let's look at what I got. I'm picking 2 dogs, Ralph. I think UCLA loses to Washington State. Uh,
Yeah,
the
you know what, Chip Kelly has a bad habit, Leo, of laying an egg and losing games that he probably should win. Chip Kelly's like that. Just like last year when Pitt played them in the Sun Bowl, they were heavily favored and Pitt ended up beating them. So I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
And you know what, Ralph? UCLA, the only reason they're a 3.5 point favorite is they're playing at the Rose Bowl. So
they're playing
I
at home. Yeah,
yeah, I think Ward comes in and the Cougars prove that they're going to stay atop the Pac-12. And
yeah. I took Washington State too on one podcast that I was on. about college football.
Here's
Yeah.
the second one. I think Alabama loses to Texas A&M, and the Aggies put a complete dampering on any hopes Alabama has of going to college football playoffs. In fact,
Well,
maybe any hope of winning the SEC West.
I
Texas
think
A&M.
Jimbo Fisher saves his job if he
Oh,
beats Alabama. He
yeah,
saves his job because you do know he's walking on eggshells down there because
especially after
they're
last
not
year.
happy with him down there.
Oh, yeah, especially after last year. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who the quarterback is for Texas A&M. It's Brad Johnson's son, Max.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did hear
yeah,
that. Yes.
yeah. And the last one I got, I took Alabama Birmingham to lose to South Florida. Again, Coach Goldie's kind
Trent
of turned
Dilfer.
around up there. He's got it going.
Trent Dilfer's the coach at
Yeah,
Alabama,
and
at
I'll tell you
Birmingham.
what,
Yeah.
you want to watch this game just for the quarterback at University of Alabama, Birmingham, Zeno. Ralph, he's completing 75% of his passes. He's
Okay.
completing 31 passes a game. This kid is
Wow.
phenomenal. So I'll tell you what, you go out and get a bag of chips and some dip. There may be 14
Right.
points for it because it's going to be quick.
Oh
And
yeah,
Ralph,
absolutely. It's gonna.
hey Ralph, while we're on it, what happened with the Steelers last week?
Oh gosh, you know what? That was a disgusting game. Mike Tomlin. I call him mediocre Mike, and a lot of people get mad at me about it, and I don't care because it's the truth. He's a mediocre coach anymore, and I'm tired of the national pundits out here going on and on and on about how great Mike Tomlin is as a head coach. I cannot believe that the people in Pittsburgh here and Steeler fans across the country accept this mediocrity. I cannot believe this. And it's been a shocking trend. They accept the mediocrity with the Steelers. They accept it with the Penguins. They accept it with Pitt football. They accept it all across the board. And I don't understand why. I guess we must be in a generation where we don't accept the best, we accept mediocrity.
You know what, Ralph? It's scary, but what's the last Pittsburgh area team that's won a championship? I think it's the Penguins, and it's been a while back, hasn't
It's
it?
been since 2017. And then now, the only chance we have right now is the Pittsburgh Riverhounds USL soccer team is in first place and has taken the division. They're going into playoffs. They have an opportunity and they're favorites to win it all. If they do that, that's it. We don't have anybody else.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because
Eh,
the Penguins are normally fighting for the Stanley
Right.
Cup every year, and
Yeah,
it,
last few years it's been terrible since then. They've only made it to the first round of the playoffs. Last year they didn't even make it at all. So I mean, but now Cal Dubas is here as our GM. I'm doing a Penguin show on Tuesday on my radio show. We're going to talk about the Penguins, get everybody ready for the season. It's the first regular season game against the Chicago Blackhawks. I have Harry the Greek on to talk Blackhawks hockey. So we're going to find out what the Penguins do. It's the same thing as the Steelers. They went out and got all these free agents, went out and got all these new players. The big hype, the big hype. Well, we have to wait to see what they do on the ice because the Steelers, obviously, on the field, are not doing it. And I saw a report last night from one of our prominent Steeler reporters here, and he said that Patrick Peterson, when we signed him, the agreement was he was going to back up Joey Porter Jr. Instead, they've kept him in there considerably and only played Joey Porter Jr. a sample size. And that's it. But that wasn't supposed to be the plan. And a lot of the things that they've done with some of these plans for the Steelers hasn't worked out at all. And that's one of them right there. And I think Mike Tomlin is just scared to play these rookies. Hey, you drafted them in the high rounds, play them.
you know what, Ralph? People have to understand, and people in Tampa are starting to get it. That when you
Right,
start to see wholesale changes at a certain position, I'm going to say offensive line. The Bucks'
right,
offensive line is a work in progress because they've got four different guys out of the five at a different spot. Yeah, Works is still there, but he went to left tackle. And
right.
just because you're playing tackle doesn't mean right and left are the same. So,
Exactly.
and Jensen got hurt. You got two new guards. So it takes 6 to 8 games just for those guys to get some cohesion. Also, you don't know how banged up people are. And again, you're dealing with a second-year quarterback up in Pittsburgh. I don't care what
Right.
you have, but that second year is the toughest because they got 17 game films on you. So now they're
Yeah.
starting to figure out what you can and can't do. But what amazes me about the Steelers, they're a run-first football team. Why have
Yeah.
they
They
become
always have been. I
why
mean,
have they become a
it's
pass first football team? I know you got, what you think is your franchise quarterback, but you
quarterback.
know what? Turn around and give it to 22.
Well,
That's
the offensive line, Leo, hasn't done its job either. And we brought in two guys. We actually we brought in two guys, Salamalu and Herbeck from the Eagles. They played on the offensive line for the Super Bowl team. We brought them in here thinking they were going to fix things. We got rid of Dotson, shipped him out, at left guard, brought in Salamalu. He starts, and he stinks. I just don't get this. I mean, we brought in all these free agents that and thought this was the very first time, Leo, in all the times I've been alive, that the Steelers have brought in this many free agents and they sign them like crazy. As soon as somebody waves somebody like Desmond King from the Texans, and we got Marcus Golden and a bunch of guys that just came to us because everybody else cut them. But there's always a reason why people cut them, Leo. And Patrick Peterson's 33 years old, and I was kind of leery about signing him because we don't know what kind of shelf life he has left.
Yeah. When you put a three in front of your age, you start to get question marks. I don't care, where you are, where you're
Right.
playing. you know, and that's why the Bucks, Sports Illustrated, their two writers picked the Bucks 2-15 and 4-13. You know why they did that? Because they didn't think they could recover from Brady leaving. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
The best
Right.
thing that happened to Tampa Bay was Brady leaving because he would go down faster than the French army in World War II when he saw
Yeah.
any type of pressure.
Exactly.
So now you got Baker Mayfield. And you know what, Ralph? A healthy Baker Mayfield is a pretty darn good quarterback. And he's
And
proven
now
that in Tampa now.
And now, Leo, Todd Bowles got his quarterback. Todd Bowles was inherited Tom Brady. That now Baker Mayfield's his quarterback. So and he has talent there, Todd Bowles. So let's see what Todd Bowles does. I think if he doesn't have a good season this year, he's on eggshells too.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what, Ralph? You can guarantee Black Monday or before, at least 6 NFL coaches are going to get fired. Welcome to the world of the National Football League. And you know what NFL stands for? Not for long if you don't win. So if
I
you don't
think
go to the
I think Matt Everfluss could get fired from Chicago. I think Brandon Staley, he's on eggshells down in L.A. with the Chargers because of some of the stupid decisions he made last year and some of the dumb stuff he's doing now. And I heard he's not getting along with players. Probably Arthur Smith if the Falcons don't do well. This is his fourth season, and they haven't won more than 5 games. So I mean, that's number three. Todd Bowles if he don't win. I heard if Robert Saleh doesn't do well this year, he might be on his way out. So
You know
that's
what, Ralph?
five.
Once Rogers went down, he gets a pass. That's
Yes.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
stuck. But uh, how about if the Patriots go 7-10? What do you do
I
then?
heard Belichick could be gone. I mean, that's,
Yeah, and a
yeah,
lot of you look at a lot of them, age wise, you need to move on anyway, eventually.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it,
That's like here. I think it's time for mediocre Mike to take a hike because you know, he he's been here for 17 years. We haven't been really deep into the playoffs in a while. And then when we were in 17, we ended up losing to Jacksonville in a game that we should have won because Jacksonville sneaked their way in on that time. All right, we should have won that game Cole handily. We lost to the Browns. We beat the or lost to the Browns by 2 points with a backup quarterback, Mason Rudolph, and then we go into the playoffs to play the Browns and get slaughtered with Roethlisberger, and he was hurt, and he played hurt. Okay, I mean this team right now we have the worst assistant coaches in the league right now. We don't have anybody that's ready to move on to be a head coach, and Tomlin inherited Bruce Arians, and he inherited Dick LeBeau, and after they left, and after Todd Haley left, I mean Todd Haley, he might be a jerk, but he's a good offensive coordinator, and so when we lost all those guys the last couple of years with this Matt Canada and now Terrell Austin as our defensive coordinator. Terrell Austin, he has never been good anywhere he has been. He's been in 2 NFL teams. He wasn't good at either one of them. And then he was going to be the candidate for the Pitt Panther job before Narduzzi. And I'm glad we didn't hire him because, look, his defense is terrible. We had Brian Flores. What did they do? They put him up in a press box. They made him linebackers coach. He should have been assistant head coach. So I don't know. I mean, it's just we bring good guys in and they leave. The best guy we got right now, Leo, is Pat Meyer, our offensive line coach. That's the best guy we got with any kind of NFL coaching experience.
And I'll tell you what, once you get a good line coach, you better lock him up forever and a day because
we had one, guys, Mike Munchak, and he left.
Yeah, those guys, you don't shake the tree and they come out. Very few really good out. And if you look at the offensive line coaches, they may be the oldest people because you can't find good ones. So
no, you can't. No. Look at Mike Tice. He's still around. Remember him?
Oh yeah.
Yep. So Mike Tice is still around. So I mean, and he's a good offensive line coach. Bill Callahan is too. So I mean, he was a terrible offensive coordinator, but a horrible head coach in both college and pros, but a good assistant, Bill Callahan. I think the Steelers should sign Jason Garrett if they can.
Yeah, that
as an offensive coordinator
wouldn't be a bad move.
No,
I don't know if he wants to, leave the security and sanctity of the press box or the studio anymore.
You know what? That's not a bad gig.
Nope, not at all.
Look at Bill Cowher. Everybody thought he was coming back to coaching. He says, "I don't want nothing to do with coaching at all. I like my gig right now. I love it."
Oh yeah, especially when it's 7 figures.
Yeah.
And I'm not working till 2, 3 in the morning every day.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, why do you think these athletes are retiring early and getting these broadcasting jobs? I mean, guys are leaving after 6 to 8 years, banking their money and taking broadcasting job. I can make $2-3 million and sit on my fanny and talk and about football and get paid well with the NFL Network or something.
Can't call that a job. And it's funny, Ralph. I just read an article about the NFL broadcasting boot camp, where these guys go through like a training camp to see if they're any good and to polish their skills. So when the network needs people, and you know what, they're going to go to 18 regular season games and 2 preseason games shortly. It's going to happen. But they need to do something about Thursday Night Football. That is just terrible.
NFL is losing money on that, I heard. And I don't know why I guess they signed a long-term contract with Amazon. I heard they're losing money. They want to go back to the regular way they did it before because it's terrible. Not everybody has Amazon, Leo. I don't.
No. And I'll tell you what, Ralph, the bottom line is why you can't give a team a bye week coming into a Thursday game.
That don't make no sense.
No. And what that does?
Terrible.
That gives you 10 days to prepare for your Thursday night game, then another 10 to get ready for the next week. That's only fair, just to do it.
Yeah, because I've seen the Steelers lose Thursday night games come out flat because of that only 4 days. Because first Tuesday's your press conference.
Right?
Travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, last 2 weeks haven't been good for travel for the Steelers. Plane went down, or they had another problem again, and they had to get off of an airplane. So I mean, 2 weeks in a row. I don't know. Maybe Delta is the airline. Maybe it's time to get rid of Delta and go move into somebody else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just long as the thing doesn't crash. That's the big thing,
that is the big thing. Yes, absolutely.
And you know what, Ralph? Knock on wood. We haven't had that in decades. You saw Marshall, but we never had a pro team. The closest we had was the U.S. figure skating team went down and basically took the entire team. And that was back, I think, in the 70s or 80s. So, yeah, air travel has gotten a lot better. But thank God that hasn't happened because that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Could you imagine a pro team, an NFL team going down? How do you recover from that? That would almost be impossible.
Oh, it took Virginia a while, the Virginia Cavaliers a while to recover from that shooting they had there last year or something.
Oh,
You know,
you know,
yeah,
if I'm Tony Elliott, I'm just looking in the mirror and go, "Why did I take this job?"
yeah.
Because
Oh, I know, I
I,
know.
and the way they're losing this year is got to be driving him crazy because they have
It
been losing.
probably is because they had a really good coach. I mean,
Yeah,
and he just retired. You know,
yeah, for sure.
so
All right, buddy.
uh,
What do you think?
hey, well, I don't know. I think the Steelers. We'll see what they do against Baltimore tomorrow. Pitt's off today, fortunately, and they changed quarterbacks. They needed to. Phil Jakovic was stinking up the joint. Now they're moving him to tight end because we're short on tight ends, and we're going to see what this Christian Villel or whatever his last name is. And no one can pronounce it. We're going to find out what he does. He's transferred from Penn State. See what the Steelers do tomorrow. And what's Tampa up to tomorrow? Who do they play?
They got a bye week, so yeah,
Oh,
that
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
so
So,
they're off. But a lot of good football games. I think Jacksonville and the Bills early morning.
oh, that's going to be a really good game.
I think
Yeah,
that's
there's
a
a
good game.
lot of good ones out there. We'll see what the
Yeah,
Steelers are made of tomorrow against the Ravens. I'm glad to see that they brought up, or they finally brought up to the main roster that Bryden Fehoko. We signed him from the LA Chargers. He's a good defensive tackle and a nose tackle. I watched him play with the Chargers. They didn't re-sign him this year. Steelers picked him up. He's been on our practice squad for God knows why, but he's been on our practice squad. And now they brought him up and they're benching a couple guys who are stinking up the joint now. So I'm glad they brought him up. So we'll see what he does on the defensive line. Cam Hayward's still hurt, and
mhm.
he won't be back for a few more games. He just had surgery on his groin, and we got Alex Highsmith who has a groin problem, but he says he's going to play. But we'll see. Marcus Golden's ready to go. I hope he doesn't play. I'd like to see him get healthy for the remainder of the games and not play hurt like that. We have a lot of depth now in our linebacking position, so you know. But we'll see what happens. How about this baseball playoffs? I wanted the Rays, and they are they're gone. They're done now. So
Well, it was it was baseball's their worst nightmare. All the series ends in 2 games, so they had no
oh,
baseball last night. You know,
oh
so they lost a bunch of TV money by not having content on that night. But Ralph, I'll tell you what, it really upset me that Tampa Bay was getting hammered because they only had like 19,000 at the game. I blame this on Major League Baseball. They knew the Rays or Baltimore was going to be the top wild card team 2 weeks
right,
before the season ended. All they had to do is say, okay, Baltimore or Tampa, you're hosting Tuesday. Here's the time. They came out Monday morning with the time that that Tuesday game will be 3 o'clock. Well, guess what? People worked. They had to go
yeah,
in and decide. You can't make schedule changes in your workday with
right,
just 24 hours. So you know what?
yes.
Don't come back and tell me, oh, this is a bad market down here. It was a bad decision by Major League Baseball. And
Oh,
they're going to go,
Rob Manfred, man, he's got to go. Leo, it's
oh,
terrible. He can't. He's so stupid. He can't find his way out of a paper bag, and it's just dumb. You know, some of the stuff he does. You know,
yeah,
he's like a blind man in a silent movie theater. It's just he don't know what he's doing.
yeah.
Uh,
So, you got
well,
the Braves did not want any parts of the Phillies. So we'll see what happens there because the Phillies
right.
kind of owned them in the playoffs. Yeah, so we'll see what happens here. And you know what? The pitching is lined up for everybody. They've got, an extra day's rest where no one had to pitch. So all these wild card games coming out, they're sitting in pretty good shape. So we'll see what happens as that transpires.
All right, Leo, thanks for being part of the show as always. You and I every Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m., telling it like it is, and that's what we're doing here on this show. And I want to thank everyone for watching today. Leo, you have a great day. Enjoy the South Florida Bulls, and say hello to Peter and all the gang for me down there.
Will do, Ralph. Hey, you stay safe and talk to you next Saturday.
All right, thank you, Leo. That was Leo Haggerty, who's a co-host here on Telling It Like It Is every single Saturday morning. We're here at 10:30 a.m. Talk about today about Draft 412. Draft 412 is a e-magazine that you get in your inbox. You pay $9 a month. Go on draft412.com. They break down the skinny. They break down everything involving any kind of draft, any kind of baseball, hockey, football, basketball. If it has anything to do with sports, Draft 412 breaks it down. So get on their website today, draft412.com, subscribe, and then sign up for their e-magazine. It's in your inbox, $9 a month. Almost as cheap as a cup of coffee, they used to say, but coffee's more expensive than this $9 a month, believe me. So check that out from Draft 412. Also, I want to talk to you about, let me talk to you today about Hillcrest Farm in Richmond, Ohio. Hillcrest Farm, Richmond, Ohio, has great hay grain beef. They have some great specials as well. They won't take you to the cleaners. Call them today, 740-346-5442, 740-632-2894. And if you don't know where they are, Richmond, Ohio is right up the hill from Steubenville, Ohio. It's only an hour's drive from downtown Pittsburgh. Take the kids going out, see Taylor and Caitlin, the owners. Tell them you heard it here on one of my RW Media shows. Also, check out my website, www.rwmedia.com, for all kinds of details. Hillcrest Farm has an email, hillcrestfarmsohio@gmail.com, and their website, www.hillcrestfarmsohio.com as well, and also on Facebook, Hillcrest Farm. They have some great package deals. They have a roast beef deal, a variety box, and a ground beef deal. Ground beef deal is $95. You get 20 pounds of ground beef. And check out all their other stuff online, and they're also shipping. So if you live in, like we have folks that live in McGrath, Alaska, and you want something shipped to McGrath, Alaska, they'll do it. They're now shipping. So get on their website, www.hillcrestfarmsohio.com. Hillcrest Farms, Richmond, Ohio. Grain hay beef. All right, I want to talk to you also about some of our RW Media shows that are coming up Monday, 7 p.m. The Way We See It. That's myself and Bill Canada. That's our new show now. We have plenty to talk about this Monday. We always have a lot to talk about on that show. Tuesday, by the way, they'll be on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter platforms, and also on my website, www.rwmedia.org. Just get on there, look for The Way I See It. I have to get my tech to fix that, and get on there, push under there, it says live, boom, you'll come right on to The Way We See It. And also, I want to tell you about Tuesday. Every Tuesday, Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM, 12:30 a.m., and also live on Beaver County Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, their website, and also on their app, and www.rwmedia.org. Is Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier. This Tuesday, we're doing a Penguin special. We're going to talk to you today about the Penguins, get you ready for the season. I have Harry the Greek coming on to talk about Chicago Blackhawks, who are the Penguins' first opponent, Joe Kuglis, who covers the Penguins for our sponsor, Draft 412, and Matt Venzel, who is the beat reporter for the Post-Gazette that handles the Penguins. Also, this week are some schedule changes. Thursday, the Wrestle Talk show will start at 8 o'clock this week and go to 8:45. That's with me, Ralph Williams, Mark Mancini, Bubba Brewer. Smoking Jim Frazier, Wrestle Talk. We're moving on up. Yes, we are, as the Jeffersons would say. We're getting more and more listeners every time from everywhere across the country and all around on it's 347-205-9631. Blog Talk Radio. That's how you listen to the show. Friday at 11 a.m. again. We had to change the schedule again. We will have the External Boom podcast with Mark Mancini, me, Ralph Williams, Scott Morganroth from the South Florida Tribune, one of our sponsors, and also Joe Kuglis, one of our sponsors as well. So is Mancini Media, Mark Mancini and his media as well. Joe Kuglis from Draft 412. We talk about bums in sports and other sports topics as well. 30-minute show. We start at 11 a.m. Friday. We usually do it on Saturday at 9:30 a.m., but some scheduling conflicts. We had to move it to Friday for the next couple of weeks. I'll keep informed on my social media pages in regards to schedule changes. Also, you could check and don't forget about Telling It Like It Is with me, Ralph Williams, Leo Haggerty, every single Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. I'm also Thursday, 9:30 p.m. on Fire Up, part of the South Florida Tribune and Scott Morganroth. George Eichhorn and myself. It's called Fired Up every Thursday, 9:30. Check that out, YouTube, Facebook. Also, I'm on Wednesdays. This week, Wednesday, we didn't have a show with Peter Blake and Mark Mancini for Turnbuckle Talk. We talk professional wrestling for 30 minutes right on the sports web. It starts at 10:30 with Peter Blake, and also it's on YouTube and Facebook as well. I'm Ralph Williams. This has been Telling It Like It Is. You have yourself a great weekend, and I'll talk to you Monday for The Way We See It. Myself, Bill Canada. Talk to you then. Until then, have a good one. Be safe.